25-RZ is a request of Terry Romans for rezoning from A agricultural to C in neighborhood commercial at 1907 East Governor John Sevier Highway, parcel ID 111-03606 in the 9th Commission District.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
If you'll give your name and county residence, please.
Terry Romans, I'm the engineer and surveyor that represents Mr. Webb on his
Okay.
property. I live at 1923 Hopewell Road, Knoxville, 37920.
Okay. And I don't have anybody signed up for opposition on this item, so Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the CN neighborhood commercial zone because it is consistent with the intent and location criteria of the CN zone.
Thank you. And would you like to speak to your project?
Sure. They're building a large subdivision right down from where Mr. Webb owns his property, and we're looking at maybe doing some either storage or some type of strip development that would support that neighborhood, because they're putting in a lot of houses down there. They're compact, and storage would be, and they're beside Knox Chapman Utility District. So I think it would help the neighborhood that's going in.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any discussion from commissioners? Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Brooks, I noticed that the staff recommendation was to deny because it's partially related, that the zoning is partially related to the place site, that it doesn't meet the required criteria for partially related. Can you speak to that a little more?
So staff's analysis of this and was the basis of their recommendation to deny was that the zoning should generally be placed at street intersections that include either a collector or arterial street as close to the edge of a neighborhood as possible. While this property is on an arterial, it is not at an intersection or on the edge of a residential neighborhood. There is residential development in the area, but staff didn't feel like it was sufficient density to support some additional commercial zoning in this location. In addition, the CN zone staff looked at the comprehensive plan and found it to be inconsistent with implementation policy 4, which prefers commercial development to consist of walkable mixed-use centers, corridors, and neighborhood nodes. This site is adjacent to Knox County, the Knox Chapman Utility District, and a number of large single-family homes.
Thank you, Director Brooks.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I tend to, I guess a little, this is just on the line, just outside of District 8. So I tend to agree with staff. This is in the middle of a residential, not an intersection, but just the neighborhood commercial, just in general, possibly storage, possibly strip building, something. It's a really odd place to put that type of I guess development or building construction, whatever, inside that residential. It's, to me, it seems very out of place. So I tend to agree with staff on this one.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Romans, first, has there been a discussion with the people who live directly across the street with respect to this proposed development?
Yes, I think there were only two, I guess, people that commented about it. And the lady across the street was here at the commission meeting, or planning commission meeting, and she came over and talked to us, and we told her what we was wanting to do, and she was fine with it. The only other person was Carson Bailey.
How far away is the proposed, or the tract of land from French Road? Because that's an intersection, right?
Yeah, there's two French roads there.
Well, it's the one
in there. Yeah.
It's.
I don't know, without looking at my drawings, I mean, I could.
You can't, okay, you can see it up there, right? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's
you have
actually
plenty of sight distance if that would be an issue. I mean, we've looked at sight distance, so there's plenty of sight distance based on the speed of the.
Brooks, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Director Brooks, with commercial neighborhood, isn't there a distance for the intersection, or when you're talking about an intersection in commercial neighborhood, because that's one of the criteria, it has to be, the proposed rezoned tract of land has to be within a certain distance of that intersection. Is that correct?
I'm looking at the zone here. It doesn't say a specific distance. It says just that the generally be placed at street intersections that include either a collector or arterial street as close to the edge of the neighborhood as possible. Let me look a
do
little
you-
bit further down here.
Well, do either you or Director Snowden know the distance from French Road to this particular tract of land? I'm trying to look it up right now.
Based on the scale at the bottom of the map, it looks like it's over 600 feet.
I'm showing 548 feet.
839 feet, according to KGIS.
I'm doing the same thing, and I'm getting 548 feet.
It looks like it's a little over, well, it depends on where you measure from, but 500 to 600 feet.
Okay, all right. All right. And now, Mr. Romans, the Knox Chapman office has or location has an office building, is that correct?
Yes.
And then it has a bunch of big water tanks, correct?
Yes.
And
Back by the river.
Yeah, and then it's got other industrial type equipment, is that correct?
Yes.
And then that's right next to an already existing residential neighborhood, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is not really going to be out of character with what's already there. Do
No.
you agree?
No,
Okay.
I agree. Yes, I agree.
Yes, all right. Thank you. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Durrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With zonings, I typically go with the zoning commissioner. This one, I'm not saying I'm not, it gives me pause because we worked for 18 months to create our growth policy plan, and this would not be honoring that. And so that's just that is where my hesitation lies. I don't know if anyone else wants to speak to that, but and even for some commissioners who, the ones that were just sworn in and even our ones from 22, we've been working on that, gosh, I can't tell you how many hours we as commissioners have spent on it, our staff has put into it. So that's what's giving me pause on this one. And that and the zoning stays with the land and not the owner. I appreciate that you all are looking to put commercial in for the residents that will be there, and it's neighborhood commercial. However, y'all could get the zoning and then sell it tomorrow. And who knows what would be there then. And so that's what's making me concerned about this one.
Thank you. Do we have any further discussion? Commissioner Hill?
I have a little bit of reluctance voting on this, to be perfectly candid. I did not make it out to District 9 to look at it. And I'm kind of thinking, Commissioner Fox, I don't know how familiar you are with this.
Very, very familiar.
Okay, because
Yes.
you were asking about the distances and all that.
Yes.
So, all right, if you're familiar with this, I'll defer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Yes, I just want to say that I do support this, that I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I have seen inconsistencies with place type, and I've made big deals about inconsistencies with place type since I've taken this office, and zoning that has taken place and decisions that were made by this body before I stepped into office, where place types were changed, the plan was changed because, just within a few months of having spent 18 months. And so I don't get that argument, particularly with respect to this particular piece of property, because it's next door to effectively what's an industrial site, okay? With an office building, commercial and industrial, all in one. And so I believe this commercial zone will be helpful when it comes to this new development that's going in. It's very close to an intersection. So I think that we should support the planning commission. I don't always support the planning commission's decisions, but I think they made a good decision in this one. And I therefore move that this rezoning request be adopted because it's consistent with the intent and location criteria of the commercial neighborhood zone.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Fox and a second by Commissioner Lee. Okay. Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I'm only pausing on this again because, yes, we have French Road, but it's, looking at the map, it doesn't seem like it's correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like it's a major intersection. I was trying to figure out what side streets and residents it goes to. It's a very, once you head down French Road, it's a very rural, open space, probably, I'm assuming not a very heavily trafficked area.
It goes back by my house. I come out that road. I come out that road several times a week.
I guess, yes, Knox Chapman is there. I guess it's a little different since they're a utility, but I don't know. It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't seem to fit.
If you're asking about traffic
Since
on that road?
in the rural conservation and it's still ag, so.
There's not a lot of traffic on that. I mean, it's just a road that loops around and
On
there's
French
not
Road?
a lot of houses on French Road. I mean,
Yeah, well,
there's
that's what I'm
not a lot
saying,
of
as
traffic.
far as it being close to a major intersection with traffic and to warrant a neighborhood commercial type development, it's a very small rural road, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you. Director Brooks, I can't pull this up because I'm out of juice here, but could you just hit the high spots on the CN zoning? Aren't there limits in size of building and that sort of thing?
Yes, are you wanting to know dimensional standards or the uses that are allowed?
Let me have both.
Okay. So it does allow retail sales that are limited to, I won't read out the entire list for you all, but, grocery stores, clothing, jewelry, garden and lawn supplies, florists, things like that, of that
Gotcha.
nature, barbers, shops, dental offices, vet clinics. There are some uses that are permitted on review, so those would have to come back before the planning commission. So outdoor storage of materials, fueling stations, self-service storage facilities, vehicle repair. Building height is limited to 35 feet, and no individual building or commercial establishment shall have a floor area exceeding 5,000 square feet.
5,000 square feet. So if he were to want to put the storage facility, he'd have to come back for use on review?
Yes. Yes, self-storage facilities would have to come back for use on review.
Were you aware of that?
Yes.
All right.
Commissioner Russell.
I was just curious, so you would be able to do a self-storage facility in a size of less than 5,000 square feet and still be,
It's my understanding that's per building, not just 5,000 square foot on that.
Director Brooks.
Yeah.
I think they limit.
It's limited to 5,000 square feet
In total?
in total.
In total, okay. Was that it, Commissioner Russell?
yes, I
Okay.
was just,
Okay. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So would, I guess that was a question you all may have had too. So it's 5,000 square feet total. Is that sufficient for your storage units for you all?
Not total, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's-
that's what the limit is 5,000 square feet total for storage units.
Per building.
No, total, per lot. correct? Is it 5,000 square feet total per lot?
This just came before BZA. I believe that is correct, yes.
Okay, so it'd be 5,000 square feet total for storage units.
I just want to let you know, I've got 3 buildings.
Step up to the mic, though, please.
Can you
I
get
have-
your name and address too?
Jimmy Webb, 585 Pickens Gap Road, Seymour.
Thank you, thank you.
I have 3 buildings less, probably a mile away, and I've had them for right around 30 years. Never had the first problem, never had the first neighbor issue. And I keep them mowed, I keep them landscaped. And, you know, I was looking at doing something like I've got, or doing a storage facility just because of the residential areas, apartments, all the apartments, 250 units going up less than 200 yards.
The reason I was asking is, for this particular rezoning for neighborhood commercial, for this lot, the limit would be 5,000 square feet. And irregardless of what they look like or whatever, that's the total space that you would be allowed per BZA's standard. So if 5,000 square feet is not adequate enough for you to pursue storage units, then it would not behoove us to rezone it to neighborhood commercial, because if you can't do storage units and you were to sell the property, then it's open, we've opened a whole can of worms of other potential uses.
I was understanding for the last meeting that it was 5,000 square foot per building. You could do 2 buildings there for storage. It's not?
No. Director Brooks, do you want to speak to that? Just, I want to make sure that they're not confused, so.
I mean, I can do my best. So BZA just recently took up this particular issue. The code is unclear. I mean, and so that has been one of the challenges. But BZA did rule that it was 5,000 square foot per
In
lot
total.
in total.
Okay, per lot, so it's not per building.
On that neighborhood commercial, can I do the office warehouse like I've got, the small ones for tenants? I mean, I was saying either or. I've got 3 buildings less than a mile away that's got office, like one of them's got 3 units, one's got 4 units, one's got 4 units. And I've got 2 10,000 square foot buildings and a 5,000.
Right, but those they would not be in neighborhood commercial zoning. They would be in a different.
It was plain commercials, what those were.
Okay, that would be
Yes.
planned commercial, so that would give you a much broader use of that piece of property than neighborhood commercial would. Neighborhood commercial, but since it's deemed neighborhood commercial, it is more restrictive, smaller scale, to fit within the neighborhood. Director Brooks, am I explaining that correctly?
Yes, if it's in a different
Yeah.
zone.
Commissioner Jay? You're not gonna, okay, never mind. All right, so, right now we have a motion on the floor. I'm almost, for me, Commissioner Fox, I think I would feel better maybe postponing this and letting them talk to planning and actually kind of figure out what they're doing, because they're kind of confused on what they can do, and it may be, that's just kind of my thought about it. If you'd like to redo your motion, or I can make a substitute if you want me to. Okay. So I'm going to make a substitute motion to postpone for 30 days. And we have a second by Commissioner Jay.
Can I,
Yes, go ahead.
gentlemen, I seconded her motion, and I think that, I just want to tell you why. I literally, I understand both sides of this argument on both spectrums. I think if it's clear what's going to happen and you guys had some clear direction, it's going to be between 2 neighborhoods, but it's also right next to a big commercial. I think it's kind of a weird spot. And I think if it was clear, this commission would be clear about whether or not it's something that they either want to stick very strictly to what we thought on paper, or make sense to support the residents that would have an asset of some kind. I think if you came in and said it was a small commercial retail center that would support the neighborhoods, or grocery or something like that, you everybody would have probably said kind of makes sense, but storage units end up being a different world altogether, and it seems a little vague. So I think give it more time. If you guys are up for that, I mean, this body will decide, but I think if you could find a more clear path with some direction, then you probably will find a more less hesitant commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. And that's really what I was doing. So you guys kind of would, everybody be on the same page and you wouldn't kind of be confused on what to do. So that's the reason I did
Probably need
that.
to have a prayer meeting with planning
You called
to
planning.
maximize what we can do with the property.
Exactly. So I think that's a good opportunity for you to sit down and talk to planning, figure out what you can do, and then it's a great opportunity for you to get back with Commissioner Fox. So everybody's kind of on the same page. So we have a substitute motion on the floor to postpone for 30 days and a second by Commissioner Jay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.